changed everything. There was no going back. She walked out without another word, without looking at her husband, leaving him sobbing in the middle of their dead son's room. She hoped he suffered twice as much as she did. "I hate you." She should have been speaking to a mirror. Chapter 1. Wednesday. Maxine Revere, investigative reporter, learned the hard way that insinuating herself into the middle of an active police investigation was a recipe for disaster, which is why she focused primarily on missing persons and cold cases. Law enforcement was usually willing to talk when the case was dead in the water. Unsolved cases grated on the nerves of most cops. If Max used her extensive financial resources and media access to gather actionable information, cops would often work with her. Worse than shaking things up in the middle of an investigation was showing up right before a trial. The bad guy was behind bars. The powers that be were 1,000% positive they had the right person, and Max's involvement caused the chief of police, district attorney, and prosecutor to lose sleep. She didn't much care. If they were confident with their evidence, there was nothing to lose sleep over. But Max rarely did anything the easy way, so when her old college friend, old college ex-boyfriend, called her weeks before his wife was to go on trial for the murder of their only child, desperately believing that she was innocent, Max agreed to fly to Scottsdale, Arizona, to listen to John's theory, which, she had to admit, sounded intriguing over the phone. Still, in Max's experience, while occasionally the wrong person was accused and imprisoned, the prosecution rarely went forward with a costly trial when they didn't have ample evidence for a conviction. Not only because of the cost, but politics. A high-profile case, such as a wealthy mother killing her 8-year-old son? Everyone was under a microscope from the beginning. With such scrutiny, the DA wouldn't let it go this far without something solid to sway a jury. So, even though it was John Caldwell, a man Max respected and even admired, asking for her help, she needed more than his faith in his wife's innocence. It was the cold cases that had her flying from New York to Phoenix. 3 cold cases in the Southwest that were eerily similar to the murder of Peter Caldwell. Max had interviewed many defendants and witnesses during her decade-long career as an investigative journalist. Most of the lawyers she dealt with either wanted nothing to do with her or attempted to manipulate her into printing only information favorable to their client. She didn't know what to expect from Charles North, the respected criminal defense lawyer who represented Blair Caldwell. But a condition of her interview with Blair was that she would first meet with North, where he would lay down the rules. Max always enjoyed these conversations. Boxer North and Associates had the top floor of a high-rise in downtown Phoenix, boasting views of Chase Field. As Max waited for North in the lobby, decorated in subdued desert hues, she wondered why Blair asked that the interview be conducted in her attorney's office. Blair had expressly said she hadn't wanted Max to come to her house. Originally, she'd planned to meet with the Caldwells yesterday, but instead, John came alone to the Biltmore, where Max was staying, and gave her what she considered a lame excuse for Blair's absence. They'd talked for several hours, and the anguish in John's voice was clear. His son's death had gutted him, and John was desperate to protect his wife. She was innocent, the result of a legal system gone awry, according to John. Blair couldn't kill anyone, let alone our son. But the police couldn't find a suspect. They twisted everything around and arrested Blair. They have no evidence, none. Max had reminded John multiple times, because he didn't seem to absorb her meaning, that she would give him the truth. But that maybe a private investigator would be more appropriate than an